We're already, I gotta, that's later, because we're already at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Call the meeting to order, pledge of allegiance, council members.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Give it just
Wait.
one moment.
Can we do the pledge again now? All right.
Okay. Mayor Larkey, Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson.
Here.
Councilmember Davidson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pryan.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember McCallum.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Personal appearances. Alan Edmonds.
Good evening. I will be brief, but I want to go through this just to let you know I'm not begging for a personal break of any kind. But I'm Alan Edmonds, owner or co-owner and editor of the North Cass Herald. I am here to ask for a waiver of fees on a public records request I've made of city staff. First, let me briefly defend the state's decision to allow government entities the option of asking for reimbursement for the time and expense of fulfilling Sunshine Law requests. It's not just journalists working for struggling news outlets like me that file these requests. Over the years, since the passage of the Sunshine Law in Missouri, various entities, starting with the State House, have been deluged with demands for documentation that sometimes consume months and even years of staff time to fulfill. These requests have come from individuals, from political actors, and from corporate interests, such as insurance companies and others, looking to collect data that could be worth millions of dollars and provide competitive advantages, basically for free, or to be more accurate, at the expense of you and I. In a rare fit of wisdom, the General Assembly eventually revised the Sunshine Law to give state and local government the opportunity to recover the costs of these kinds of data mining efforts. And an even more rare example of foresight, lawmakers granted government the opportunity to waive those fees if the request was filed in what they determined to be the public interest, which they defined as being likely to contribute significantly to public understanding of the operations or activities of the public governmental body and is not primarily in the commercial interest of the requester. On August 11th, I submitted a request for a group of emails from an outside agency to a group of City of Belton employees. I did so because of a very specific conflict between what had been stated by city staff to this board in a public meeting and a statement to me by the outside entity. I do not today know who is correct, nor do readers of my newspaper. The discrepancy has been reported, but that's where it currently stands, a discrepancy. This email will put that to rest. It will, in every sense, contribute significantly to public understanding of that particular issue. I received a detailed response from our city staff regarding my request well within the prescribed timeline, providing me with an itemized and reasonable cost estimate for the production of this set of electronic documents. Between the IT time to search and produce the files and the city clerk's time to ensure the files don't contain data that is, by law, not public, the total came to $88.49. While I'm willing and able to pay that amount, I feel I must on principle make the public interest argument, which I did. The city manager responded he's not authorized to make this waiver, but the council is. Except for the delay in waiting for the next council meeting, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, in that it gives me an opportunity to bring this issue before the public, so the process and cost of transparency, which we always talk about, is better understood. I'm asking that this board, in the interest of full transparency, invest $88.49 of public money to allow this discrepancy to be resolved. I say that because I realize I'm not just standing here asking for a waiver where the invoice just is wiped away. I'm asking you to authorize an expenditure of staff time and expertise. And I'll likely be doing the same in the future, regardless of your decision on this request, as long as I feel my requests further the public interest, and better its understanding of our city government. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
In terms of waiving fees, this isn't the first time we've come across a waiving fees situation, and if I recall correctly, we were a little hand-tied previously, but what Mr. Edmonds just suggested is that we are not. Is that true?
There is a provision for the public interest, and I know the city attorney has sent some information to the city clerk to clarify what would need to be said or stated in a potential motion for the council to consider such an action, if they so choose.
If we wanted to entertain this, how do we go about that from a legal perspective?
I would recommend you make a motion and have a second and then have a debate as you would any other motion, and then you can decide whether you want to approve or deny the request.
I move that we waive the fees associated with the records request filed by Alan Edmonds on August 11, 2025, as the same is in the public interest, and determining that waiver hereby is granted is in the public interest because it is likely to contribute significantly to public understanding of the operations or activities of the city and is not primarily in the commercial interest of the requester.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Go ahead.
I'm a little leery of any type of precedent we might set with this. Is there any concern there that if we approve this request that we would kind of need to approve requests in the future, of like kind?
Maybe, yes. I mean, you always have to worry about precedents you're setting. I will note that historically, there has been a kind of different set of standards for press on certain things, especially when it comes to information types of requests and the relationship between governments and press and the First Amendment interests therein. And you're talking to someone who is maybe a little biased on that front as someone who came from the media field previously. And so, yes, you can say you might be setting a precedence, but at the same time, I think that, like I said, there's been a pretty historically well-established precedent set that the press is handled differently from just most other, people who might make a similar type of request. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
I will also add that this is written into the state statute as an option, so each request would need to come to the city council to consider. It's a case by case.
Go ahead.
Is it possible to hear Patrick's, the lawyer's, motion?
That's
Yes.
what I read to
You
you.
just did.
Oh, you read it. I thought she had some other information. Okay.
Go ahead.
Since this is the first request of its kind we've gotten, I would like, as Patrick typically likes to do, tell us about other cases or ways other cities have handled this. I know he can't be here tonight, but. Gotcha, okay. I think,
It's also state statute, so it's fairly black and white in the sense that the public governmental body has the option to waive sunshine fees. It is what it is.
I can tell you,
feels-
the statute. It is in the agenda. It's 610.026. 610.026 of the revised statutes of Missouri. And that's where it comes from, where the fees come from, and the waiver of the fees is also included in that statute.
I get that. I guess what I'm tempted to do, and it is something we have been discouraged to do, is get into the weeds and play a hypothetical, okay, well, what if this or this came before us? Rob Powell was very good at that. That's just what I would like a moment to reflect on and have a discussion about, so.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of knowledge of case history. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I think that the standard is essentially set at what you all determine as the governing body is in the public interest. And so and which is, I mean, there could be a myriad of reasons and rationales why you might consider something in the public interest. And so that's essentially what it says, and that's the loophole you guys get to work within. There is not a lot of clarity as to what that loophole means that I know of.
Do you know what outside entity the emails were between the city staff and?
Yeah, it came up between the sheriff's office and the city concerning the dispatch conversation.
Gotcha, okay. That's helpful.
And I think there's, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm still a little leery for the same reason you are, Councilmember Lawson, about precedents and that kind of thing. But given the importance of the potential, I guess I can see where we see public interest here, and I guess I could feel comfortable, even though I would say we need to consider, in my opinion, we still need to consider any future request on that merit alone and not just blanket these. That's my 2 cents.
If I understand it correct, yes, it would come up every time. It doesn't mean he gets carte blanche now and gets to get as many as he wants. He would have to do a separate one for each request, and we'd have to consider it at the time, and any other individual that wanted to.
Let me give you a little bit more information that might prove helpful in this instance. The state statutes are set up in a way that when we post public notices, public meetings, we have to do a public notice in a recognized public newspaper. And that's already been set up as a kind of a third party providing information to the public type of outlet. And so that could give you the avenue to go ahead and set this type of a precedence because, you know, we're dealing with a newspaper which has already been set aside as a venue or an avenue for us to provide public notice.
Sure. Brett?
Can I ask Alan a question?
I'll allow it.
Thank you. What will you do with the information?
Publish the results of.
So it's more fact-finding than editorial.
Yeah, exactly. Mayor, if I could, I did want to state one thing based on this. There might be times, yes, we know what this is. I wasn't specific in my presentation what exactly I was looking for, but I think it's pretty clear to everyone what it is. This time, there might be times going forward in the future where I'll appear and I won't be as willing to publicly define exactly what it is I'm looking for, but staff will always know.
Sure.
So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say too that the statute does provide that we don't waive fees if the request is primarily for a commercial interest of the requester. So we'll always be able to determine that, or should be able to determine that through questioning and the presentation of whoever's requesting the fee waiver. And like we've said previously, each time a request is made, it has to come before us. We can't just give a blanket waiver.
Yes. Chris?
I must be in the dark on this. Is this about an email from city to county sheriff? Is that what it is?
The requested information is for email correspondence between city staff and the sheriff's office.
Oh, okay. I was unaware of this, so, okay.
Is this a voice vote? So, any other questions? Last chance. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Unfinished business. Number one, motion approving final reading of bill number 2025-43.
An ordinance levying and fixing the rate of tax for municipal purposes for the Park Fund and for the Debt Service Fund for fiscal year 2026.
Present.
Second. Sorry.
Any discussion? All right.
Councilmember Lawson?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
White?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Davidson?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McCallum?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ryan.
Aye. Motion passes. G, new business. Number one, motion approving the first reading of Bill number 2025-44.
An ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a vehicle repair major land use in a C2 general commercial zoning district at 215 North Scott Avenue.
You're up.
We need a motion, please.
Present.
Second.
Thank you. Now you're up.
Now you're up.
Before this evening is a special use permit request for vehicle repair major use in a C2 zoning district for an expansion to Jerry and Menos Auto at 215 North Scott. Land use updates adopted in April 2025 allow a vehicle repair major use in a C2 zoning district subject to special use permit approval. The applicant would like to build a approximately 2,200 square foot 3-bay garage building behind the existing building. The expansion meets all site and design standards with the exception of a 5-foot setback reduction to a 5-foot setback on the south side property line to accommodate the building on an existing concrete pad. And additionally, a request to eliminate the masonry requirement on the building since the building will have limited visibility from the street due to the presence of existing buildings and fences. The North Scott Corridor Overlay was also amended in April 2025 to accommodate building and site expansions provided that pre-existing property maintenance concerns are brought into compliance as part of the expansion. Staff has identified multiple items of concern in the staff report that must be addressed and are also conditioned in the ordinance, which includes unpaved parking, outdoor storage, non-permitted trailers and shipping containers, and parking lot striping and signage. All of these items must be brought into compliance within a year of approval of a special use permit, or else the permit would need to be re-reviewed by Planning Commission and Council. Other site improvements are required, include landscaping along the street frontage, as well as repaving of North Oak along the lot frontage. Although North Oak is currently public right-of-way, it will be repaved to commercial access drive standards that would apply to private development instead of standard street standards. A public hearing was held by the Planning Commission on August 5th, at which no one spoke in support or in opposition to the request. Some commissioners did express concerns over the current state of the site and if the applicant is going to be able to make these improvements. After further discussion with staff regarding the conditions and the one-year timeline of approval that would allow us to revisit it if not completed, the commission unanimously recommended approval of the special use permit. Staff also recommends approval of the conditions in the ordinance, including the incremental improvements that must be made to bring the property closer to compliance with current code. Staff also intends on providing regular site visits to ensure progress is being made to meet that one-year timeline. And the applicant is also here if there are any questions.
Brett?
Isn't it true that they tried to do some work several years ago, but were denied because of the North Scott Corridor?
So in 2021, they reached out to the previous community development director and were actually given at least voice approval to move forward with that. And so they actually got plans put together and ordered the materials. And then with staffing changes, looking at the North Scott overlay, we determined that it was not permitted to proceed with that. So they've essentially been on hold for the last 4 years after already making a commitment to making these improvements. And so now that the plan has been amended to allow that, we're bringing this application forward.
So it's important that they were attempting to, but they were stopped.
Correct. They were going through the appropriate outlets, but there was a different interpretation in the code at that time by the previous staff.
Okay.
Good.
What happens if in a year from now, we need to pull the special use permit? What then happens? What's the next step?
So if the special use permit is pulled, they would essentially not be allowed to operate as part of the expansion area. That would obviously involve some additional citations and things of that nature. That's why our goal is to continue to work with them, if the special use permit is approved, to work with them on regular site visits to keep up and make sure that they are following through on the conditions of approval.
Chris?
I've driven around that area for quite a while, and I think what they're doing is pretty good. I think it's gonna help improve. I think they've improved that corner quite a bit, with just the additions that they've done, so I'm all for this. I think in the long run, this is really gonna help that whole corner a little bit, clean it up, make it look a lot better, so I appreciate your work you guys have done on it.
The reason I brought up, they started this process and then were stopped by the city, is because they've demonstrated that they want to do something. And I think they need to be allowed to continue.
And I was at Planning Commission, essentially, we have a chicken and an egg theory here. If we don't grant them this, they're not gonna be able to clean up all the cars, so it'll stay like it is. And I like that there are checks and balances. So I appreciate what they're willing to do.
This is probably a question for the applicant, but am I understanding that one of the big reasons as well that they're interested in doing this is because they've had very good business and they, need more space and that kind of thing? Is that?
Yeah, they've been very successful. They purchased the property several years ago, I believe back in 2020, 21 on the north side of North Oak and expanded there. They did repave. That was previously a gravel lot that they put in asphalt and made some other improvements with fencing. So they have made improvements elsewhere, and they're just, they don't have a lot of garage space right now, and that's what they need to be able to get some of the cars off the lot quicker by getting those in the garage and repaired.
I'll just say my primary concern is that this is similar to those that were voiced by the commissioners, in that, and I think that's on us, not on them, that we have, accountability. So I guess I would just, make sure that I go back to that whole thing I've been saying, if we do what we say, and otherwise I can get behind this.
Anyone else? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, motion approving first reading of bill number 2025-45.
An ordinance approving a final plat for Jerry and Menuos Auto, a one-lot subdivision on a .45 more or less acres located at 215 North Scott Avenue in the city of Belton, Missouri.
Present.
Second.
This sounds familiar. You're still up.
Oh. Sorry, this is for the final plat. Before this evening is the final plat for Jerry and Menuos Auto, which is a one-lot subdivision on .45 acres at 215 North Scott. The final plat is required to be approved and recorded prior to the issuance of a building permit for any building expansions on the site. The Planning Commission reviewed the final plat on August 5th and unanimously recommended approval, and staff also recommends approval of the final plat.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion approving first reading of bill number 2025-46.
An ordinance approving a voluntary annexation petition from the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for annexation of 58 Highway between the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad tracks west to the intersection of Route D, Holmes Road, and north along route approximately 1,666 feet.
Present.
Second.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, for this evening is a request for approval of a voluntary annexation petition from the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the remaining portions of MoDOT's 58 highway right-of-way that are not currently in the city limits, which run between Holmes Road and the CPKC Railroad. This also includes a portion of Holmes Road from 58 Highway north approximately 1,666 feet. Staff coordinated with the Village of Loch Lloyd on their concerns and modified the original request to no longer be contiguous with Loch Lloyd city limits. The northern boundary of the revised area along Holmes Road is at the southeast corner of the St. Mary Magdalene Episcopal Church, which is located at 16808 Holmes Road. Staff provided a complete packet of all required documentation to MoDOT in early August, which includes the notifications and responses from adjacent property owners and all jurisdictions within 5 miles of the annexation area. The purpose of this petition is to acknowledge that the city has completed the required steps and approves of the acceptance of the voluntary annexation petition from the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission. A separate ordinance is following on the agenda for the official annexation, and both documents can be submitted to MoDOT together. Staff recommends approval.
Any questions? Go ahead, Alex.
Did we get any of those adjoining properties you were just mentioning? Do we get any interest on voluntary annexation based on those letters sent out?
We do have one that we plan on bringing forward in September that we have received, and there's at least one additional that's interested. There's also been some interest expressed in some other property owners that are already in the city along some of those areas that are interested in potentially developing their properties in the future.
This, I believe we've talked about this, but just to make sure, this does not change anything in regards to snow removal. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
The only other thing I have is probably a city attorney question, but maybe not. Maybe someone else can know the answer to this. But based on my review of the map, I believe we're going to create 2 more islands of unincorporated land that will be surrounded by city land with this annexation. Is that normal? I know we have them elsewhere, and I know other cities have them, but it's just looks funky.
It is normal, and as part of the process, we send out a separate notice to those property owners as required by state law. We actually send them a copy of the voluntary annexation petition, giving them the option to be added onto this annexation. None of the property owners, I believe that there were 4, and none of them took advantage of that at this time.
It's interesting. Okay.
Go ahead.
What would be the benefit of being annexed?
In order to have access to any of the city utilities, there is water and sewer currently in that area and in the works of potentially being expanded to that area. So those properties would not have that ability, and more than likely the county would not be able to provide those services. So in order to develop their properties any further, they would have to annex into the city.
So they're not tied into our water and sewer now?
Nope, they're in either a county water district, or they're on septic for sewer.
All right, and then that gives them snow plowing rights? If they decide that they're gonna be included in this annex?
Not if they're on a state route. The state maintains that.
Can I make a statement? Sometimes.
I'll just add, like any city service, right? I mean, that would be the value of annexation, whether that's, the utilities we think of that was just described, or that's police, fire, which I know we help out those areas anyways in police, fire. Okay, I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying it's any, garbage, recycling, all of the city services.
Well, and I guess that's my point, that there are advantages to being annexed. So, anyhow.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion approving first reading of bill number 2025-47.
An ordinance annexing right-of-way from the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the annexation of 58 Highway between the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad tracks west to the intersection of Route D, Holmes Road, and north along route approximately 1,666 feet into the city of Belton, Missouri.
Present.
Second.
Last one.
All right, this is the same annexation area, just the official annexation ordinance. This annexation would more clearly define the city limits in this area of the city, and also allow the acceptance of future voluntary annexation requests that align with the city's future land use plan to the west of Holmes Road and south of 58 Highway. Cass County is also one of the few counties in Missouri that is subject to RSMO 71.014, which allows the approval of a voluntary annexation by ordinance without a public hearing. Previous opportunities for public comment were noticed in the newspaper for this annexation and on the city's website as required by MoDOT. Staff recommends approval of the voluntary annexation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have G again, the consent agenda. I gotta read that? One motion, non-debatable, to approve the recommendations noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action.
Present.
Second.
Any discussion?
Number 2, please.
Any others to be removed? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, motion recognizing the submittal and acceptance of the Cedar Tree CID fiscal year 2025 annual report.
All right, oh,
We-
present.
Thank you.
There we go.
Almost
Any
forgot.
questions?
Yeah, this is really a question across all CIDs. I'm not specifically pulling out the Cedar Tree one, although I being that it's, anyways, I'm not specifically pulling out the Cedar Tree one. But, have we had any, issues with any of them maintaining their properties throughout the process as part of the CID?
I think that it's fair to say that from time to time, we've had to lean on them some, but I think for the most part, they're receptive and when we do point out issues and eventually getting them remediated.
Okay, so there is a difference between saying, sending a reminder as opposed to sending a citation. And so
Right.
we've mainly been sending reminders, that kind of thing, once in a while.
Well, I mean, it's one of those situations where you get more flies with, honey, right? And so we try to reach out and say, hey, we've got an issue, and if they voluntarily address it, just like we would with the residential issue, we say, hey, can you address this? And if they do, then we don't have any issues.
Okay. And the only other thing I'm curious on is, are any of them near the end of the agreement?
They're differing.
I know, if you don't know off the top of your head, that's okay. I can get that information
I could get a
later.
report up for you pretty easily that would outline the dates of these that are in existence. If you
Yeah, I guess I'd just
give me
be
a few
curious to
days,
see
then
that.
we can pull that together for you.
Thanks.
Send that to me too.
Sure.
I have a question.
Okay,
CIDs don't live for forever.
Correct.
They can live for forever, they never live for forever. Is there
No.
usually a time frame?
They're
30
statutorily
years?
limited, and don't ask me for the statute and the limits on the statute. Mike might know those, but I don't want to put him on the
Casey
spot.
knows 'em. She looks like she knows them.
Some of them are 25 years, and I think they can go up to 30, maybe, or 27, yeah,
And can they be extended again?
No.
So once they're done, they're done?
correct.
Okay.
If one of the petitioners, one of the parts of the CID decides that they would like to do another project as part of that in that same district, I think they can try to reform a CID, if that makes any sense. That includes the existing businesses as well. So you could have, for instance, part of the property developed at one time. They do a CID for it, and then another portion that's still in that CID does more development, and they want to renew it as a different CID to extend it out. And so that happens from time to time.
Okay.
Any other questions?
that's all I had.
All right.
I'm good with approving.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Communications from City Council.
Just wanted to say that the resurfacing work in the Belray subdivision is going really, really well. They finished my street this morning. It was very fast, and they were very helpful and kind. We did have a tourism commission meeting, and that went very well. And we talked about the short-term rental and the geofencing that's been going on for downtown, and what's happening with the Belton Main Street Coalition and plans for Christmas. And we're still in the process of getting those finalized, but getting closer all the time. So thanks for all the hard work on getting the street repaid.
As someone who likes to promote Belton, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we did have a local news here. KSHB 41. I hope I got that correct. There's a lot of acronyms for news. Anyways, they were here, and they have on their website a whole big promotion for Belton called Let's Talk Belton. If you Google it, it comes up. If you go to their website, it comes up. It's pretty easy to find. I would just encourage anyone to check that out. They're going to have stories from residents that came and talked to them and whatnot, and it's pretty fun series. So just wanted to point that out. A couple updates from, well, let's start with the TDD board. Let me be specific here, the Belton Cass Regional TDD board. We did meet for the month of August. Not a whole lot to update from a progress perspective, because as a reminder, the next project we're looking at is North Cass. However, there was a change in board members, so I thought I'd just inform people of this. The Mount Pleasant board members specifically. So Gary Mallory is no longer on the Mount Pleasant board, but he was selected by the Mount Pleasant board to represent them on the Belton Cass TDD board. Okay, so while there was a change technically in hands, we have kept the members of the Belton Cass Regional TDD board the same. The two people from Mount Pleasant were selected to represent them as just the same. So that was just something I felt would be pertinent to update. And then, of course, I got a parks update. The Cleveland Lake dock, if you didn't see, is officially open. It's the ADA compliant, and it was done through a grant with the Missouri Department of Conservation. So that's a really awesome thing that took place. Tomorrow, there will be the milling and repaving of the loop road going around Wallace Park is going to begin. This is going to change the flow of traffic over there as I don't actually want to say which day is which because I'm going to get it backwards and then people are going to be like, oh, but he said. So I'll just say, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to what's going on if you plan on going over there. They anticipate to be done by Friday, I believe, but, all weather dependent. So that's a big thing to pay attention to. There is also, I know I've mentioned this, but it's gotten a lot closer. So 1 week from today, there will be a new gym floor that will start to be installed at High Blue. They're expected to take 2 weeks, I believe. Hold on. Let me check my official source here. No, I did get it wrong. 2 months. They're expected to take 2 months for that gym. So that's why I wanted to check, because 1 week from today, the gym at High Blue will be down for approximately 2 months. So just want people to be aware of that as well. And then there is a Rock the Lake disc golf tournament that's coming up on September 13th. I think it's either already full or very close to full. So if you are at all considering joining that tournament, go check it as soon as you can. And that is everything I have from parks. So that's everything for me.
I went to the Belton Chamber's 80th anniversary here in Belton last Friday, which turned out really good. They do a lot of stuff for the city, and I really appreciate all the work that's being done over there. So, also, I had something else. You can't use my excuse. Yeah, no, I'm getting there, though. Yeah, I think that's it. It was great.
This is more of a question. I just wanted to see the roof leak at the police department. Is there an update on how that's going or been addressed?
Yeah, we believe we've got the roof stopped leaking. It's not a permanent fix. The roof at some point is going to need a full repair, replace, most likely. We're working on that process, but it's not currently leaking. So there is work being done as we speak on the ceiling and dispatch, and so that was estimated to take 3 weeks for that to finish. It started yesterday.
3 weeks. Is dispatch then working?
Dispatch currently is working out of the county sheriff's dispatch center.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have nothing.
I just want to thank Ellen and the paper for doing the article on downtown Belton I don't think a lot of people realized really truly how much they gave back to the community and did a lot of good. And then I have a second question. I've had some of my citizens in Belton ask about the audit. How close are we to being done with the 24 audit?
That's a great question. We have another meeting with our auditors tomorrow. We've had some bumps in the road. They've had a couple people leave on us throughout this process. One of them actually had a death in the family, and that took probably a week or two away from the audit. We are doing everything we can. They are digging really deep, which is good. I mean, I asked for that in '23. They did it. They're doing it again in '24. They are really getting a lot of information, more so than I've seen in the past. So I'm happy about that. There's a lot of things that we still need to address, and that'll probably be addressed in '25. So yeah, it's a process. They are new and they're digging deep. So I'm happy about that. I think hopefully council's happy about that too.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, of course.
So, sorry, just to piggyback off that
No,
real
you're
quick, I know. I'm not trying to stick you to a
timeframe?
timeline, but any kind of time frame?
So, I mean, I've been given probably 2 or 3 timelines. I've told Joe, and those have not held up. So, I mean, my hope was by the end of August. So my hope now is by the end of September, we'll have 24 done. For FY25, I would say that our work is probably 75% complete. So we've already been working on 25, just waiting on them to finish up 24.
Wanda?
I've worked hard this week. We're working on the Main Street Coalition stuff, and I cut brush all day today, which is on another side job. But people are happy in Belton right now. I've been out walking, and there's just been a lot of positive responses and good words to say. They're excited about the future dump day and dumpster day that we're having in the fall. And I've had really, really good reports from citizens of Belton this week, and that's very nice to see.
We had a Ward 4 meeting not too long ago, and I had a constituent ask me a question about handicap parking, and I have to apologize. I lost your contact information. So if you're listening, please contact me so I can give you the answer. Also, Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
you're a little weak on the tapping.
I'll work on that.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Second chances? Go ahead.
Hey, I do have a question on the roof leak at the police department. Was it a roof leak that happened?
Yeah, it was a leak, and not sure if it was 100% caused by the rain, but there was some issues with the condensate off of the air conditioner as well. So
Okay.
that probably had
Because
some
that's where I'd kind
kind
of heard that it was a line from the.
Yeah,
And the AC was just put on, what, last year?
Yeah, it's a recent thing, and that's why we think that sometimes you go with a new contractor who has a very aggressive pricing structure, and sometimes you pay the price through quality of craftsmanship, and I think that's what we ended up running into in this.
So the line from the AC condensation, that wasn't really the problem?
It was a problem. It was
That was the
from
problem.
the new installation, yes.
Okay. But the roof, but it was leaking
But
through
the roof's having
roof, or-
problems too. It's an old roof. It's
Okay.
in.
But it was actually coming through the condensation pipe, right?
Well, the problem was that and forgive me, I'm trying to relay this,
I've
so
heard
I'm
two
playing
stories, that's
telephone
why I
here.
want to know.
And so it's my understanding that, the drainage that was set up for the condensate wasn't done correctly, and so when, you add a bunch of rain on top of that, it creates issues on the roof, and that leads to leaking.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. The mayor wanted to congratulate Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift on their nuptials and invite them to Belton, Missouri to have their reception. We'll find a place for them. City managers report.
I have a few things. One is City Hall will be closed Monday, obviously in observance of Labor Day. The Marquee Parkway Extension ribbon cutting has been finally scheduled again to September 11th at 5 p.m. And then we'll be holding that, which is a Thursday, in front of essentially the church there on the south end of that project. So we invite the public and obviously the council out to that event. The reason for the delay was they're waiting on one piece. I understand that helps to operate the traffic signal that was installed. So that's what led to the delay, because you can drive by there and see that it's already been painted and striped and everything seems to be ready to go. And so as soon as we get that, we'll get that open. I also want to give some kudos to our economic development and community development staff. We've got some pretty cool businesses coming into Belton, and I think that's a reflection of not just our growing community, but also, the processes that we've put in place to help folks get open. The Peanut is one example. We'll be open the next couple weeks, and so will Handel's Ice Cream next to McAllister's. Not to try and single out specific businesses, but I think it's worth for the public to see that some of these things are occurring.
Items for review and discussion. Golf course irrigation computer upgrade. Jay, you're up.
All right, well, that's not the right one there. Okay.
I'm not.
I brought, excuse me, we've got 7 slides tonight, so I won't take too much of your time, but just wanted to kind of show you that we're going to be bringing this to council here in the future. It is a budgeted item for 26, but just so that you kind of understand a little bit about what we're looking at. I'm pointing the clicker at the motion there.
The door's shut.
Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try the clicker, the mouse.
Oh, mouse. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay, don't listen to
Just
me.
say it. There
There
we
we
go.
go.
All right. I don't know if that was you or me. As you can see, the picture on the right there is what is our current irrigation control panel. It runs the irrigation system to the entire golf course. It was installed in 1998. That screen is about the size of my hand. And you have to push those little buttons on there up and down to program anything into that system. So we have a little over 750 heads that irrigate the golf course. So that's how we do it right there. It runs on DOS. Some of you might remember what that is. Our irrigation technology people come out and they take pictures of that. They send it out all around the country because they can't believe it's still actually operating. So that gives you a little idea. This is what we're getting ready to go to. It'll be a cloud-based technology system, so it'll be able to run through an iPad, a computer, anything that's connected to the internet. You can see the design of the holes, the little patterns that are on there. That is the pipe of the irrigation. The little dots on there would be the sprinkler heads. Ours would not be quite that lined out. They would take old as-built drawings and they will create those into there. But if we wanted geo-accurate stuff, we could pay a fee and have them come out and actually GPS locate all of the sprinkler heads on the golf course. But we really don't need that sophistication as far as knowing exactly the location. We have a good idea, but just gives you an idea that one, it's technology that is out there for everybody. 2, it's also upgradable and expandable. So looking at the future, if we do decide to do any kind of upgrade to our irrigation system, we would not need to buy a new system. We would just be able to coordinate this with our current setup. I feel like they told me not to point it at the screen, so. I saying too close? There we go. Okay, maybe it's just I'm too close. This is a picture of the satellite. So what a satellite basically does is these are out on the golf course. These will all get replaced through this process. So they are actually where all the wires go that are out that control all the sprinkler heads. So the control module, computer program sends the information out to the satellites. The satellites then relay that to the actual sprinklers that are out on the course, tell them when to go up, come down, how long to stay on, how much water to put out, so on and so forth. So all of our current satellites will be traded in as this process. They will refurbish those and send those back out to other systems. It's included in the process, but we will get all new towers that will go on our existing pads, and then they will rewire all of the sprinklers into the new system and program those. Okay. So just got to back up here a little bit. So why are we doing this? First of all, we're just getting ready for the future. Obviously, water conservation is always something that we're going to be cognizant of. So the biggest thing is right now, when we turn our irrigation system on, we don't have any way to, other than wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's raining, drive into the golf course, go into that little room, find the little button in the dark and push off to turn the irrigation system off. So, the way that we'll be able to do it in the future is, again, you could pull up your phone. It will work on anything that's connected to the internet. We could put a rain hold on our system, turn it off in the middle of the night. So once again, saving water, saving dollars, we're all part of the same team. So I know that it all comes out of the city. And so again, we're not wanting to water when water's coming down for free. Also, the improved technology is going to allow us to create programs. Obviously, you can imagine we have 18 golf holes out there. Every one of them is a different ecosystem. So trees, shade, a tree gets taken down. Now there's sun in an area where it's been shaded for 25 years. So all of those things impact the environment of the golf hole itself. Sometimes you need to put more water in areas that were shaded, now they're not shaded, so on and so forth. So we can create programs to where we can specify a specific head and say, hey, we want to water this 5 more minutes than the rest of the golf course. Currently, right now, if we want to water our fairways, for example, we have to water all sprinkler heads that are tied into the fairway program for X amount of time. So this gives us a lot more flexibility. As I said earlier, it is budgeted. It was approved. It's going to come with the following items. So we get the new computer control system. We'd get the new satellite boxes. It comes with 5 years of Toro support. That's the computer system that runs the program. All the hardware and materials and the installation is also included in that. The most recent budget estimate that we have for the project is $200,000. We have $230,000 budgeted for this project, and we would be looking at bringing this sometime late September for review, but installation and switchover would probably happen sometime in November. So we still have a little bit of time, but I thought it would be prudent, being that it is a couple $100,000 project, that I bring it to your attention and just let you know that this will be coming for you in the future. So, any questions?
Normally, I don't ask this because I never would have thought of it. But some things have happened at my work. So what type of network security is tied around that? So, you're protected against, so for example, a DDoS attack.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, not being an IT guy, I would refer that to, Andrew and the IT team here. Obviously, there's not any kind of majorly secure information there that, hackers would typically go after, but I'm sure that they've got safeguards in place for all that, but we would coordinate with IT in regards to how we have that safeguarded for access. So again,
that is a part of the process in your...
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I am excited for the convenience and efficiency this will afford you, but I gotta say, seeing the picture of the old module, I have a lot of respect and appreciation for a machine like that. And, you know, try not to replace them if you don't have to.
What kind of trade-in are we getting on that old box? That's gotta be worth money.
Right, it's a relic. I would say honestly, you know, it's kind of like they say, you know, that 27-year-old washing machine that you've got. I mean, they just don't build them like that anymore. But obviously, cloud-based technology is, you know, is pretty good with the standpoint of, you know, software improves all the time, and so programs improve. So, you know, that kind of comes along with the you know, with the protocol of the upgrade. So, but I'm with you on that. It's pretty impressive.
I think Toro probably should give you like longevity pay or something that, you know, helps pay for this new thing.
They should. There's a
Yeah.
lot of gray hairs that I didn't used to
Yeah,
have that
and
come
all the
from
guys that
that.
took pictures and send them out, you should get naming rights or something for all
Right,
that.
right.
I think
yeah.
you should donate that to the Belton Museum.
We could maybe do that. That would be pretty cool. So.
Go ahead, Alex.
Just real quick on, in terms of, I didn't see this up there, but I assume training's included, or do we already have
Yeah.
personnel that knows how to operate this new stuff, or, you know, I just...
Yeah, no, they're here for a week. There is several days of training that will go on with that, but we have their support for the 5 years. So, you know, whether it's through email or webinars, things along those lines. Once again, we'll have all winter to work on design, because the reason why we're doing it so late in the year is obviously you wouldn't want to have your irrigation system out of commission right now. So we're going to do it late fall when the watering is not quite as demanded as we get closer to winding down for the golf season.
So when sprinkler 32 starts going off and no one knows why, you'll be able to just call them and find out. And
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a whole new language to talk about.
If need be, my grandchildren are available.
Right. That's always
show
the
you how to
case,
run it.
right?
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Number 2, Lord of Love Lutheran Church, special use permit for digital sign by Mr. Wright again.
I don't have any slides tonight for this. So, we've received an application for Lord of Love Lutheran Church, which is located just east of Commerce Bank on East 171st Street at Belray Boulevard. They're requesting to just replace their monument sign out in front of the church with a digital reader board sign, which does require special use permit approval. And that is scheduled to come before the Planning Commission with a public hearing on September 16th and then council in early October.
Any questions? Oh, of course.
I remember we have rules on how bright they can be and all that kind of stuff.
Correct, and they have to provide those specs to us with their permit.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, last but not least, number 3, Police Department, drug room. Chief Lyons, you're up.
Actually, this project was headed by Lieutenant Dan Davis, and he's going to give the presentation. And so this year we had so many CIP projects that we divvied them up among the command staff. And so this project came out great, and he's going to give the presentation in
Hopefully
5
the
minutes or
slideshow
less.
goes better.
Everybody keeps telling me I have 5 minutes, so we'll be done in about 15. Our facility was constructed in 1988 and had a renovation in 2008. When it was designed for about a 20-year lifespan before either expansion or replacement. Right at about that 20 years, we did expand our police department by about 30 to 40%. Our current evidence room was constructed out of an area in our old building that was the Sally Port or the garage. Current best practices call for secure areas within the evidence room for the storage and keeping of firearms and narcotics, keeping those items of property separate from the general property that we recover in the course of our duties. When the current evidence room was constructed in 2008, a secure area was built for the firearms with a separate locking door, separate lighting, separate sprinkler system, but one was not constructed for narcotics. So, out of necessity, a corner of the evidence room was kind of designated as the narcotics area. and delineated by those beautiful shelves you see there. All the totes you see along those two walls and the boxes up above, that's all narcotics and narcotics paraphernalia. It was in a designated area, but as you can see, once you're in the property room, it certainly wasn't a secure, separate area. That door on the right side of that picture, that's actually the secure door into the firearms room. These are other views of that narcotics area. As you can see, the evidence that we hold prior to destruction and for trials and things like that takes up quite a bit of space. Additionally, when we installed that drying cabinet you see in this picture, there was some work that had to be done, and the drop ceiling got ruined. You can see it was in total disrepair. This is a pass-through area to enter our property room. There are two doors in this hallway. That drying cabinet is to dry evidence for storage so that it doesn't mold and degrade DNA. So that's where that goes. Where that gate is, that's the gate into the actual property room itself. The lighting present in the room was the old compact fluorescent lighting. It was outdated. It was also decided that part of this project, the outdated lighting would be replaced with energy efficient LED lighting. So a request for proposal was set out on April 2nd of 2025. We held pre-bid meetings with contractors on April 16th and April 25th of 2025. 5 or 6 contractors came out, inspected the room, and advised they were going to prepare bids. However, only one contractor, Ron Construction, submitted a bid for $32,625, just $125 over the budgeted amount. That was accepted. City Council gave me the go-ahead. Construction began in June of 2025. Over the course of approximately 4 weeks, Ron Construction and their subcontractors replaced all lighting within the evidence room with LED lighting. They repaired and replaced the drop ceiling in the pass-through area, constructed a wall securing a corner of the evidence room to become the narcotics room. They modified the sprinkler system to ensure proper coverage inside the new narcotics room and in the existing property room. They installed an exhaust fan through the roof to ensure proper ventilation of the narcotics room. They installed wiring for the keypad lock system, which will be installed later, basically where you can just swipe a card and the door will unlock. It currently has a manual key lock on it. And installed a heavy steel door and painted all the newly constructed walls. This is the finished product. That's that same pass-through you saw with the ceiling completed. The picture on the right is just looking down the length of the property room. You can see instead of the large rectangular CFL lights, there's the smaller LED lights that actually put out quite a bit more light, especially in some of the shadowed area with all that shelving. The room on the left there, that's where you saw the shelves in the earlier pictures. That's the work that they did. On the left, that is the outside of the room. On the right, that is the inside of the room. That picture's a little bit deceiving. I had to kind of zoom back while taking the picture. It makes it look like a skinny closet. It's really not. It's about 15 by 15 feet. In the center there, that's that exhaust fan that's on a switch. Before is the left, after is on the right. Plain and simple. These photos clearly show the difference of the quality work done by Ron Construction on the left with the original contractor which built the evidence room on the right. The workmanship and attention to detail are clearly superior. As you can see, the intrusions, as they refer to them, where pipes and ducts go through the wall, and even where the drywall meets the corrugated ceiling on the left, they cut all of that out, caulked it, it's seamless. It looks like it was always there. On the right, that is part of the expansion from 2009. As you can see, the workmen there cut giant holes. There's gaps around everything. They didn't even bother taping and mudding the drywall seams above 8 or 9 feet. And they just slapped paint on it. So in this case, as I stated, Ron Construction did a clearly superior job in their workmanship. We're very happy with the results. They're also extremely easy to work with. Any questions from the council?
Just say I appreciate the update.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's great.
And also, Chief did want me to mention, Ron Construction is a local business. I believe they're headquartered just south of Peculiar, Missouri. They've done other work for the city before, and they're a small business. So,
All right. Any motions?
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.